crinkly over there, Brian.
Because
There
I'm
we go.
touching something.
Okay, well, we're live. Hey,
Of course we
everyone.
are.
Welcome, everybody. I think I got my background a little bit better. I actually brought a ring light in here. And so trying to act all professional. We'll be right back after this. You're all crinkly. Stop being crinkly. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the
Good morning,
Lynn and
Brian Show.
Brian show. Yes. Welcome, everybody. This is an interesting and fun topic we have today because uh, Brian, I asked him how he was doing yesterday and what he was doing. And what did you say, Brian?
I said I was boating.
And then I was like, how about how you row your boat or float your boat or all the
Yep.
above?
I think there's a lot of
'Cause-
metaphors and different ways that you can take this, so this is good.
yeah. And if you're not still motion sickness from being on your trip there.
No, no.
Okay, awesome. So, at first, when I thought with floating your boat, it's amazing that whether you're on a canoe or whether you're on a boat, or, so let's start out with a canoe. You get in there, you really got to learn how to balance you know, and start out with the small space you have.
Hmm.
And basically, that can be like you being with yourself and trying to be one and, have a good time, right?
Hmm. I think
So,
I think there's a lot of parallels here for how you relax, how you spend your time, how you allocate your time, but also though how you pursue life, right? Your purpose in life, how you get after what you need to get after. I think that there's a lot of parallels here, right? The type of boat you have, if it's even a boat, right? How fast you go, how fast you don't go. What's your what's your ideal
purpose.
boating situation? Like, what does it look like? Is it just people having a good old time with a couple beverages? Is it just sunbathing? Is it a very fast speedboat, or is it a pontoon boat? Is it an inner tube? Is it skis? I think that a lot of those dynamics can parallel how we look at life and how we get after what we want to do in life and who we want to become.
Yeah. Do you want to go down tubing? Because you know the stream only goes one way, right?
Right,
So such is life. It only goes one way.
right.
And so, oh no, that's interesting. Now we're live on Facebook. For some reason, that just didn't take till now. Everything else
Excellent.
did. Excellent. But anyhow,
Hi Facebook. Hi
yeah.
Facebook.
Hi, Facebook. Yeah, it says now you're live on Facebook. All righty then. But anyhow, I think that that's really, and some of you that may miss this, it's probably in the replay. Hopefully it's there. If not, you'll have to watch it on YouTube. Anyhow, yeah, trying to figure out how do you want to sail down the river?
Right.
We're all going down the river. We're all streaming one way. And like you said, there's like you could go from a tube to a just a little life jacket, to a kayak, to a canoe, to, a boat, to a speedboat, to a yacht,
Hmm.
or live on an island that's on land all the way around.
Right. Or another opportunity or another avenue is if you're so scared that you don't even try those things, or if you feel like you have to master those things overnight, and if you don't, then you're a failure. Well, if you don't even try, well, then you have absolutely no idea of what's possible.
Right?
You're being held back by everything that's in your head and nothing that has actually happened to you. There's no actions in that. It's all thinking,
Yeah. Well,
you
can you
know.
imagine if somebody, had a injury or a traumatic thing happen when you're on a canoe or a float, and here you are, you're going on a yacht or you're going on a cruise where you can't even tell, but just the idea of knowing that you're going in water can affect people
Right.
because you
Well,
haven't.
and it's all here. Most of the time, it's hearsay or it's news or whatever, but it's not. You're attaching your experience to somebody else. You know,
Right.
and it's your life now. Granted, if you want to live it through somebody else, or here's what happened to these people, so therefore I'm attaching myself to what happened to those people. You can do that, of course, but at the end of your days, are you going to be content to say, I did that and I'm glad, or I wish I had, you know. And so Lynn is attending to business on her end, and that's there's a lot of the size of boat. Are you a rower? Are you a speedboat person? Are you just kind of hanging with people with some chips and dip and drinks and just being yourself and enjoying what this time of year has to offer.
Brian, yeah, you
Yeah,
have the floor for a minute because I have to take care of
sure,
something. So go for it.
no problem.
Thank you.
So yeah, it was just an interesting topic. Now that many areas, especially like the Midwest, and I know that Lynn is in the West, in Montana, but some us in the Midwest, we crave and can't wait for summer to be here until it gets way too hot, and then everybody's like, I wish it was a little bit less. But in other parts of the country, it's warm. It's been warm all year long. Now it's just hitting extreme temperatures and more humid lifestyle where water every day is a daily thing, like in California or Florida. So, how you row your boat? It's a very interesting topic, but the reason why we chose this is because I was on a boat yesterday for a short little boat ride. First boat ride with my girlfriend and her dad, and a brand new boat, or at least to them, their new boat. And it was great because we're all navigating it together. But we didn't have any intention other than we're going to go on a ride and be in the moment about what's going to happen and what it's going to look like. So it was very cool and peaceful. There was some times where it's a speedboat and a fishing boat, and we gave it a little bit, but at the other times it was just about being in the moment and being with other people and enjoying everybody's company. And it was a very, very cool time. And so that's what really triggered this idea today is how do you row your boat? And the part that really stands out to me in this phrase or in this question is you and your. It's your journey. You're the one that answers to this or not. If you choose not to answer, well then you can't complain or make excuse about if it's not the way that you want it to be. And so this time of year we have a choice about what each adventure of our life looks like, or what our boat looks like, or what the purpose of our life looks like. So there's so many parallels to this question that we're looking at today.
Yeah, and yeah, can you hear me?
Hmm.
Okay, awesome. Um, and I think the great thing about realizing that the analogy of being on a boat, you know, sometimes you need to have other people that are in the boat with you
Yep.
balance that boat out,
Yep.
which is balancing in life, which I don't know if you were talking about that while I was busy, but it's just
No.
taking note that picking the people you want to be in a boat with, such as
Yeah.
life,
Right.
who do you want to
Yeah.
float with? And if it ain't floating right, it's something to consider.
Well, and I think that attaches to a piece I just shared about is that in the phrase here that we're talking about and discovering today is you and your, right? It's an all up to you entirely. Now,
Right.
that rowing that boat could involve yourself or it can involve other people. It's your choice, you know. Thank you, Facebook user. You have to row into the wind, and everybody has to work the paddles. Sure,
Yes.
if
Yep.
that's an option, you
Yep.
know, you know. I mean, if somebody's right next to you, giving her, on the motor and stuff like that, and all of a sudden you run into waves, well, the best way to go through them is to put the boat side, like turn into it. Don't just float with the waves,
Yeah. Because the
But it's your choice.
yeah the crap when you're without a paddle is an analogy in itself too for the topic.
Hmm.
Because oh, it's Jerry. Jerry's like
Jerry.
for some reason it's happening a lot. I'm gonna have to check into why that's happening to users. I'm a Facebook user too on a I don't know. But
Yeah.
thank you, Jerry, for being here.
Thanks,
So
Jerry.
we love you, Jerry. So the whole thing with not knowing what you want to use for transportation, not knowing if you're going to go for the bigger, yacht or if you're going to go for, a canoe or whatever. It's just, the ocean's big,
Hmm.
that's the world. It's big. I don't think people look at it the right way. You
Well,
don't,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead. I think I
I
have
just
some.
think it. I just think it's also like, what is the intention of the boat? Is the boat for practicality? Is it because of, like my girlfriend's dad is retired. He was in the Marine Corps, and he loves to fish, he loves to hunt, and now that he's retired, he gets to do those things. And so one of those pieces was a boat that he could do those things in. And the lake around their house is very new, so this is a perfect experience in a summer where not only is he closer to his kids, but he also gets to do those things that he loves to do, as opposed to like a boat where it's just, and there's nothing wrong either way, but a boat that you're just there to show off. Maybe you're strapped that you can't even pay for the thing, or maybe it's more than what you need, or what is the intention? Is there some practicality behind, what type of boat or what kind of vessel or medium you're using, or is it just for show? Is it just to be like, hey, I want to be perceived this way? Great, good on you.
But
Not the way most people roll. There's an intentionality to why they make a decision or why they choose the boat that they want, so to speak.
well, you got to enjoy the moment. And the thing is like if you're going to spend all that time or money or energy on something that you don't enjoy or you're just
Correct.
keeping there, it's priorities in life. Oh,
Hmm.
Sandra's
And
here.
it takes out others to enjoy the water, to enjoy the peace. Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the same thing goes with let's what kind of what kind of ambiance? I mean, do you want a whitewater raft with a boat or a yacht or a tube,
Yeah.
or a canoe? Same thing goes with the same thing. What are you looking? What is treachery? I mean, like you want to go from here to Alaska or I mean Florida to Puerto Rico. I mean, like you got to have a ship. Forget about a
Hmm.
boat. You need a ship. What kinds of people don't prepare? You got to be prepared somehow in order
Hmm.
to what your intentions are or with the end
Right.
goal.
Right.
And so again, it's just a great metaphor to say, have you looked at the bigger picture?
Hmm.
And so there's just a lot of different things to look at. And you can't take a pool, above ground pool, and you can't put a canoe in it. Where are you going to go?
Right. Right.
It's got to fit yeah, take a
Take a
speedboat.
speedboat. Sure.
Yeah. Brian was on a speedboat.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
and what I noticed a lot was is that, yeah, we gave her, there's a rebellious side to her dad, right? That hasn't left him all these years. But it was like, so much of it is about just being together and being on the water, right? Taking it for a drive and being curious about what we're going to see, or wow, look at how big that house is, or look at how many boats are in that area. You know,
Yeah.
there wasn't really any other intention besides being together and exploring. That's it. And that's either that purpose or intention is either met or it's not. And it's clear, it's a yes or no thing. It's not, now granted, this was a short term thing, but at the same time, it's like, okay, was what you were there for fulfilled? Yes or no?
Yeah.
You know, and it's either a yes or no thing. It's not something, well, oh, and I
So,
think that the maybes or the unknowns are what hold us back in life. Plus, also, though, I think it lingers in our life, right? If you're not fulfilled in one area of your life, it just kind of has a way of showing up over and over and over again. And then you can't receive what you don't ask for, what you don't do, or what you don't make available to yourself.
well, it just brings me to the point that before you prepare to go there, look at all the things that we materialistically think we need when we go and do these
Right.
things.
Oh, yeah.
It goes to show you how much we don't need when you're going to boat.
100%.
That, is, or when you travel, you overbring and you never touch half the stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
Such is life, right? We think we need all these things and then we look like a hoarder house or something.
Well, and then you bring up, it's like, okay, if somebody's so busy that, it's kind of like if somebody never steps away from their life for a little bit, whatever it may be. It's amazing if you give yourself the hour or hour and a half or whatever that time is to go out on a lake, go out in a boat and just be there. It doesn't have to be long. It can be if you want it to be, but it's amazing when you step away from life and you stop looking at the time and you're just being, no matter what you're dealing with in life, you could get a lot of perspective that you wouldn't have if you didn't give yourself that time to do it.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
and the peace and tranquility to see everything green around you and just
Yep.
seeing, life just happening and it's just a wonderful place to be. And, sometimes you got to put that sunscreen on,
Oh yeah.
you know, or a hat on or those things. Whoops. Well, you know what? Oh, well, I guess it stopped. But we are at that point. We made it. We made it through. And you
Yeah.
didn't. You did good this time.
Yeah.
No
I refreshed my
malfunction.
phone. I'm learning to refresh all my devices before we go on, just so that
Oh,
doesn't
there you
happen
go.
again. So
Well, thank you everyone for being here. Any last takes you want to know?
no, I would just say, no matter what you're dealing with in life, you can't overcome it. You can't deal with it. Don't make excuses. Don't don't make any blame about it. Right? Don't blame anybody else. Take it upon yourself, but reverse engineer whatever you're up to in life. Whether it's you're taking the shortcut or the long cut, reverse engineer the outcome, and the more accurate you can be in how you want to feel, what the intention is, what the purpose is, the more you're going to get there. The easier you're going to get there.
And even though we're talking about floating your boat, remember this: life is like a puzzle. Look for the solutions. What are you going to do? That boat can have a hole, and that could be another different story in
Right.
itself. But again, you have to say, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to rise on top of it, or am I going to sit there and sink? So I
Right.
mean, you've got to always have another game plan. So
I would
make sure you
I
have a
would say
life jacket.
I
You
would
know,
just say one more thing too, is
yes,
that if you're in a place of uncertainty or whatever, don't stay where you're at.
yeah,
As Jason Redmond would say, retired Navy SEAL, get off the X, get off the place of which the problem exists. Right? Don't stay
love it.
there. Like if you're dealing with a life ambush, whether it's big or small, don't stay in the spot where it is. Move. You know, just like our mentor Ken Walls talks about. Right? Is that if you're in a time of crisis, or if you're in a time, and I'm paraphrasing, but if you're in a place of discomfort, or if you're in a place of unrest with yourself, do something great for somebody else. Do something for somebody else, so you move away from your stuff and at least help somebody else out.
Absolutely. That's great advice. Again, we don't realize the blessings. To feel the uncomfortable means we're not in the right place, or there's room to grow, or we need to change. And if it's the same lesson over and over, take a minute to really analyze, why am I keep going through this?
Yeah,
And realize that it's something you're doing that you're not either learning or you're not taking the right steps.
one
And
hundred
that
percent.
and that's how you can shift really easy, is by just taking time to say stop the madness, take a minute, and even closing your eyes and starting again. It's just amazing how that'll help. So all right, my friend, everybody, have a great weekend, Brian.
You too.
All right, you stay right there, Brian. All right, you
Sounds good.
guys, have a good one. Bye.
Thanks for being here, everyone.